This video is presented by DraftKings Sportsbook.
Yo, football is back. The season has kicked off and teams are celebrating the first wins of the season while other teams are revisiting their game plan. Whether your team won or lost in week one like Dallas, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving you a shot at an easy W. New customers, all you have to do is this. Get this, okay? This is crazy. Bet $5 on any NFL wager and you'll instantly receive $200 in free bets. That's right, $200. DraftKings is giving all new customers $200 in free bets when they place any $5 or more wager on a football team of their choosing. Plus, get this. With same-game parlays, you can combine multiple bets from the same game to give yourself a shot at an even bigger winning all season long. You know what I love about DraftKings is it makes sports so much more fun to watch. It really does. And for those of you in states where sports betting is not yet available, don't forget about DraftKings Daily Fantasy, where they have been innovating even more ways to win cash this football season. And let me tell you through experience, DraftKings Daily Fantasy is the best in the business. DraftKings has been around a while, so you know your funds are safe and can be withdrawn whenever you want. What you have to do now to get in on the action is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers, make sure to use the promo code Philly500 and receive $200 in free bets instantly when placing a $5 wager. That's $200 in free bets on a $5 wager. That's right. Make sure you use the promo code Philly500 only at DraftKings Sportsbook and let Philly500 know how well you did. Special thanks goes out to DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook app, for sponsoring this video. And be sure, click the link in the description and use the promo code Philly500 to get your offer. Revenge for Carson Wentz this week? I don't think so. It's the Eagles who are about to get revenge and show Woogie what he's missing. Dallas still stinks. You're right the way, Kick Dingbat here. Hope everybody's having a great football Friday. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. We are just 2 days away from Eagles, Washington. What a game this is going to be. I know a lot of us have had this game circled on our calendars. But before we get into it, a few things we got to say. If you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. We will be streaming the Eagles this week. And if you've been subscribed for a while, double moonwalk check. You know the deal. Let me also thank DraftKings for sponsoring this video. Check out their casino. Absolutely awesome. I love their casino. I love the sports book. And I know you'll love it too. Now, let's get right into this game. Eagles, Washington. This is a big game. And there's a lot of reasons. One, of course, it's a divisional game. So those always matter just a little more. But this is Carson Wentz playing the Philadelphia Eagles. What a weird world we live in. We live in a world where here's a guy that helps get you to the Super Bowl. You wouldn't have won a Super Bowl without Carson Wentz. This is true. But in just a few years later, the guy's playing for your rivals. It makes me kind of sick in my stomach. I'm not going to lie. I don't like it. I don't like seeing guys that I used to love go to bitter rivals. It bothers me. And when they're on a rival team, it's all game, man. All I can say is you're the enemy, and I hope you feel a lot of pain this weekend, okay? Let's talk about the Eagles injury report going into this game, because it looks like the biggest question mark is going to be Landon Dickerson. Eagles guard Landon Dickerson did not practice because of a foot injury listed as questionable for Sunday. Questionable usually is about 50-50. My guess is, I don't know, that the fact that he didn't practice today makes me feel like Dickerson is going to wind up missing this game. So Dickerson is on the injury report. Then you have A.J. Brown rest, Fletcher Cox rest. Resting Fletcher Cox. Okay, pause. Brandon Graham rest, Lane Johnson rest, Kelsey rest, Avonte Maddox back. I think he'll be ready to go. Haason Reddick, he should be ready to go. Isaac Seumalo, he had rest. Darius Slay rest. Sweat rest. Quez Watkins illness he's been dealing with for a few days. We'll see what happens or what comes of that. But I think he's going to be good to go. So Landon Dickerson to me is the big concern. Will he play or won't he? Hopefully he will be fine. He'll be good to go. Because I think when you look at this game, right, and you look at the Washington Command, God, I hate saying that name. That is like the stupidest name ever. Ever. Okay? They could have had so many other good names. It's not even funny. But when I look at Washington, right, especially after the first 2 weeks of the season, and I know I got a lot of people worked up talking about Jalen Hurts playing really good at MVP level 2 weeks and stuff like that. You're supposed to understand that's in the context that it's only been 2 weeks, okay? But it's only been 2 weeks. But if you look at what we've seen from Washington defensively, they don't look good. They don't look good. They were really lucky. A late turnover against Jacksonville. They could have lost that game. And then you look at their defense against Detroit. Jared Goff destroyed them. He destroyed them. DeAndre Swift destroyed them. I think they had 250-plus yard runs in that game. Washington's given well over 5 yards a carry. It's like 119 yards on average so far this season. It's something ridiculous like that. So, to me, when I look at this game and I look at the Eagles' offense going up against Washington's defense, what I really like about this game and the matchup I really love is Miles Sanders versus Washington, okay? I think the Eagles got to come out, and I think you got to run the ball. I think Miles Sanders is going to have a monster game. I'm saying Miles goes for over $120. I think Miles breaks a big one. And historically, Miles has had pretty good days against Washington. I expect a big day. I think the Eagles are going to run a lot this game. I think it's going to drive Washington nuts. I think it's going to tire them out. And then I think you're going to see, like in the second half, you're going to start seeing play action. Bomb, A.J. Brown. Play action. Bomb, Quez. Devontae Smith's going to be getting his. And I think everything is going to be predicated on this run game. The thing that concerns me about Washington really isn't their secondary, isn't their linebackers, it's their defensive line. I think they got a pretty good defensive line that can get pressure on the quarterback. Fortunately for the Eagles, they've got a quarterback who has the legs to get away when needed. I think he drives Washington's defense nuts like he drove Minnesota's defense nuts. I think that Jalen Hurts' legs are a big factor here, but I really think the Eagles' running game is going to be big this week. I expect the Eagles to run the ball a lot. I think they're going to use the run, and they're going to take it to Washington offensively. I don't think Washington's going to be able to stop them. I think the Eagles come out running early. I think it sets up the play action and some big plays for Hurts to make with his arms later in the game. So I think Miles Sanders is going to have a monster game. I think the Eagles will be able to put points on Washington. It does not concern me at all. I think this is a great matchup for the Eagles. In terms of the Eagles' defense, okay, this is where it gets interesting because if, in my opinion, you take Carson Wentz and Carson Wentz goes out and throws over 35 to 40 times this game. Let's say he throws between 35 to 40 times. Washington is going to lose. They're going to lose. They need to run the ball too. They got McKissick. They got Gibson. If I'm Washington, I'm going to come out and try to establish a run game too. I think that's very important. If they don't do that and they're letting Carson go back to throw, I think it's a big mistake because this week, in my opinion, is the week Haason Reddick is going to break out. I expect Haason Reddick to have a monster game this week versus Washington. I'm predicting Haason Reddick 2 sacks. He was getting close in the second half. And I do think when you go back and you look at the All-22 and you look at the pressure the Eagles got, okay, especially in that first half, a lot of the pressure they got was dictated right up the middle. Washington is banged up the middle. So I think that's going to continue this week. And I think if your ends and guys like Haason Reddick could start to get home, and he was getting closer in that second half versus Minnesota, I think it's just a matter of time. So I think Haason Reddick's going to have 2 sacks this week. I think one of them will be a fumble recovery, because the thing we know about Carson Wentz, when he has the ball in his hands, he tends to hold the ball long. He holds the ball. He loves to play hero ball when the opportunity presents itself. He tries to make something out of nothing. And there's times where he does it, and it looks unbelievable. But there are a lot of times where he holds the ball too long, gets hit, he fumbles the ball, he does something stupid. Okay, like I said about Carson Wentz, and Washington is probably learning this if you look at that Detroit Lions, the first half, the second half. Carson Wentz is second in the league in passing yards, okay? I think he's tied for first with touchdowns. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that they were down 22-0 in the first half. Of course he's going to have to throw a lot. It's just the way it is. If he comes out and he's throwing a lot this week against the Eagles, I think that's bad news for him. The only guy that really scares me on their offense is Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin has a history of putting up big numbers against the Philadelphia Eagles. He's my concern. You know I want Darius Slay on him. That's how I'm going to do it. Curtis Samuel is another guy that's been pretty decent. And then Johan Dotson is a good player too. So they've got some weapons there. I trust our secondary. After what I saw against Minnesota, Justin Jefferson, I think they'll be fine. And the key to defense really, for the Eagles to me is going to be get pressure on Carson Wentz. It's that simple. Carson Wentz is very similar to Kirk Cousins in that if you get pressure, especially up the middle, he will do something stupid. He will hold on to the ball. He will fumble. He will throw a pick. And that's how you get to him. And I expect the Eagles to do that this week. So, to me, the Eagles are in a good position. The Eagles are better than Washington. They're better. The thing we also have to worry about, and the one thing I worry about, is the letdown. The Eagles had a really good game Saturday or Monday night. Okay, it's a Monday night game. They've heard nothing but praise all week. All we've heard about the Eagles all week is how great they are. Sometimes players hear that, it gets in their head. Also, when you come off a short week of practice, sometimes it takes a little while to get going. Washington's going to come out amped. Carson Wentz is going to come out amped. If you can neutralize that or get to him quickly in this game, I think you'll have a big game. We might have to weather a storm early. Maybe they're pumped up. But I think at the end of the day, when I look at this game, I think the Eagles are going to win this game 27-24. Yes, that's not covering the point spread, which is 6.5. But usually these NFC East games are close. I think the score will make it seem closer than what it was. I think the Eagles are kind of up big at the end, and then Washington makes it closer at the end. But I got the Eagles 27-24 going to 3-0 and getting ready for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Those are kind of my thoughts on this game. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I will be streaming this game live. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's how we vision. We're all just living in it. So I know what you're saying. Yo, Philly 500, what about the other NFC East game this weekend? Monday night, Giants and Dallas should be a good one. I definitely think it is. I will be streaming it. My thoughts on this game are simple. I don't trust Cooper Rush as a quarterback. I don't trust Dallas's offense. I think they ran into a Bengals team that isn't very good this year, especially with their offensive line. The only guy that scares me is Parsons. I think the Giants, with the ball, with Saquon Barkley, will be able to run on Dallas, and I think this is going to be a 21-20 type game. It's going to be fairly close, but I got the Giants winning at home on Monday night versus the Dallas Cowboys. We'll see what happens. I will be streaming it. With that said, Denzel Washington out.